Alexander on the drive, pulls back, baseline jumper's good. OKC with their first lead of the second half. Williams has been hot all night, falling away. Got it. 40 points for Jalen Williams. 28 remaining. Holmgren down the lane. A Holmgren hammer, and it's back up to a dozen.
This is Udart. You're listening to the Uncontested.
Man, that new intro is still so cool. Shout out to Justin and JD for putting that together. Welcome to the Uncontested Podcast. We are a proud part of the Blue Wire Podcast Network and also brought to you all by our good friends over at Prairie Artisan Ales. It may be the off season for the Thunder, but not for Prairie. You can still hop in, watch some MLB games if you're into that, or go to trivia, which they have 2 times a week, especially on Sunday. A lot of cool stuff going on over at Prairie. We miss our friends. We'll have to make a trip over there and see them here soon because it's been a little bit since the playoffs. We also, if you look in the top left corner of your screen, you can scan that awesome QR code and join our Patreon, which gives you access to our Discord as well as additional bonus content. We've been slacking a little bit, going to be completely honest, just with the playoffs, the long grind of the playoffs. I'm focusing on that, trying to give you all as much content as possible. And then we also have been taking like a little bit of a break as well, just kind of, focusing on other things in life. But we're excited to jump back into it. We have some bonus pods and content coming for you all. Be sure to follow us wherever you get your podcasts, Apple, Spotify, etc. We're on all social media platforms. And my co-host for tonight has found a new application that's been really cool. It's like taking clips from our recent shows and it's uploading those to our social media. So TikTok, YouTube, you name it, Instagram, you can get caught up even if you miss a show. Speaking of that co-host, I'm joined by none other than my good friend, Nicholas Crane. Nick, how does it feel to be back at your home, an undisclosed location in the suburbs of Dallas for the first time in forever that you've had 3 or 4 consecutive days? Oh,
feels good. I've got 2 opening thoughts. One, I thought it was so funny and cool and to see you as soon as the J Will part of the intro, like on the application we use to host the pod is called StreamYard. I can see Taylor even when the screen is being taken up by the intro. And as soon as J Will started his little viral clip, Taylor just cheesing,
just beaming.
So that's
me
hilarious.
So fired up.
It's amazing. The second thing. Now I'm blanking on the second thing. It's gonna drive me nuts. You know when you have someone tip your tongue and you just can't think of it.
Was it how long I went on the intro?
No. I got it. It was about how long you talk. The application we use to rip the clips for social media. So the way they promote themselves is they watch your podcast and they geez, Caleb E. Ain't
Bad
wrong
for life.
You ain't wrong. It finds the most viral clips, the most banger clips from your show. I don't know if you just speak banger or if you just speak the most, but 80% of the clips it grabs are you talking.
It's always me talking.
It could just be because you talk 80% of our podcasts,
but eventually you're going to have some good thoughts when you do that. That's kind of my my whole shtick here on the Uncontested.
Oh man, no, you're great. I love it.
That's pretty awesome. Hey, that was a really cool find though, Nick. It's been fun to see.
Yeah.
They put up captions and stuff.
Yeah, it's
a cool app. So be sure to check out all of our social media because Nick has been getting those posted for us.
Yeah,
Nick.
Before we move on, you someone in the chat just said talk basketball, please. So I want to go longer without basketball. Speaking of captions, I want your take. I want to hear the chat's take too. When you watch a show, and I'm not talking Squid Game where it's a different language. I'm talking when you watch a standard show or movie. Are you a caption person or are you not a caption person? Because I cannot watch anything without a caption.
That doesn't surprise. Oh, without it. Okay, yeah,
I have to have a caption.
For some reason, I thought you were going to be the opposite. I am caption on absolutely everything.
Yes.
I go and watch movies. You and I both separately, but we went and saw Superman.
Yes, and I was I need some captions, bro.
When I go and watch movies, I remember watching Oppenheimer and trying to think of more recent movies. But yeah, like I can't wait for those to be released on streaming services so I can rewatch it with captions on.
Yeah.
I'm the same exact way.
Go watch Formula One. That's a great flick.
Yes.
Go watch.
You're a big F1 fan. Maybe we'll do some Patreon bonus F1 content where Nick can just talk about his favorite Lando.
Hey, I enjoy watching it, but I do not understand the intricacies of car engineering and all the crap they do. It's insane.
Oh yeah, it's completely over my head. I try to watch it with you encouraging me, and it's completely over my head. Shout out Smoot. The Uncontested Podcast is my favorite closed captioning podcast that occasionally talks Thunder basketball.
Can you imagine being a podcast that just talks about closed captioning 5 days a week?
It'd be like the our Bill Simmons podcast that talks about podcasts that Bill Simmons does.
Yeah. There you go.
Nick, it's obviously the offseason, but we do have some Thunder and basketball related things to discuss. We'll talk about the new arena design that was unveiled by Mayor of OKC, David Holt, and give our thoughts on that. And it's not like officially official, but it's pretty official. The Thunder are going to make the Summer League playoffs. We'll get some additional Summer League thoughts, what the playoffs may look like, what we're looking forward to, things we've seen over the past couple of days, this past week of Thunder basketball. And then we'll dive into some listener questions. We have some questions from the Discord, and we're going to listen to some from the chat. We're going to answer listener questions from the chat. So be sure to continue to drop those there as well. Nick.
Yes.
The 2025 State of the City address for Mayor Holt. I believe that was yesterday. All my days are, what's it, Tuesday?
2 days ago.
Yeah, 2 days ago. The big thing, obviously, is that we finally got the designs for the new arena coming in 2028, which was really exciting. Manica Architecture, we've talked a little bit about this, but they are the design architect of the project with TVS as the architect of record. And the big thing there is they're responsible for designs and construction of arenas such as Chase Center in San Francisco, the Allegiant Stadium in Vegas, the proposed Chicago Bears Stadium in Chicago, and the new Nissan Stadium in Nashville, which is currently under construction. All that being said, they're known for some very unique designs. And one thing that I really loved when they were talking about it, unveiling it, discussing it, this is actually straight from the website, but architecturally, the venue features a 360-degree glass curtain wall, offers panoramic views from all interior concourses, and emphasizing transparency and connection. They talk about the seating design, which we'll get into, which is really cool. And then owner David Manica, I really liked this. He presented it at the State of the City, but he also talked about in a video reel that the Thunder released actually today. He talked a lot about listening to Clay Bennett, the Thunder, the leaders of the city, just learning and listening about what Oklahoma and Oklahoma City represents, and then trying to put that into an arena. And honestly, I think they did a really good job. What were some of the things that stood out to you the most about the unveiling of the design?
I think the community feel of the arena. And this isn't like stuff that was necessarily talked about, just like maybe more observations. And it's not like brain blast stuff, but just like what stood out to me is like you have Scissortail Park, which has been like a huge piece of Oklahoma City's growth and like one of the coolest parts of the city now. It's across or kind of maybe more cat a corner from current Paycom, which will be demolished at some point in the near future after that arena is done. And that'll be cool, restaurants, bars, that kind of stuff.
Similar to the Deer District in Milwaukee, which is that's kind of what they're modeling off of, apparently. And also there's some other things that go into that. They've officially have conveyed that, I guess, to the Thunder. The Thunder now own or will, as at the point that the new arena is open, they'll own the Paycom Center. They can decide what they want to do with it, but it's kind of already been said that they will demolish it and then build this new district, multifunctional district with shops and restaurants right across from the new arena, which I think is just going to be really awesome.
Yeah. And like it, weirdly enough, Scissortail was like the park by the arena, and now the Botanical Garden, which was still close to the arena, but a little bit further, is now going to be like the focal point of it all. Like you have Thunder Alley, what is that, going east and west on the south side of the new arena, in between where Paycom and the new arena will be. Is that right? Am I directionally correct?
I believe so.
And then the Botanical Gardens will be to the west of the new arena, which is beautiful. And I feel like does not ever get talked about because Scissortail gets all the attention.
That's my daily walk during lunch
great.
whenever it's nice out. Yep.
Yeah. And so like you think about now, the north side of the arena will be like downtown. The east side will be Bricktown. And then south and west is going to be like beautiful gardens and like things to do and restaurants and bars. Like it's going to be a legitimate like community feel. And then you walk into the arena and there's a whole bunch of emphasis on like when you're on the main concourse, you can like see up to the upper decks. And then if you're on the upper decks, you can still see down to the main concourse. And like the first section is taller, bigger. I don't know. Like there's less than it's no longer like a 100 section, 200, 300. It feels like more of like a 1, 1.5, and there's a small 2, and then there's like a 3, like a Loud City. And the first section feels steeper, and it's more like wallish, if you will, of the Clippers. And it's less seats, but it's a heck of a lot bigger of an arena. And they've really put thought into keeping like the collegiate atmosphere where it's going to be insanely loud and the fans are going to feel more on top of you. And I just think it's built for a city like OKC, and it's great.
Absolutely. I think you gave a great overview there. There's a couple things that you mentioned I think we should dive into in a little more detail. The first being, you mentioned Thunder Alley. Every longtime Thunder fans remember that first playoff run where the Thunder went deep into the playoffs, and you're outside of what was formerly Chesapeake Arena, and on that screen, the game was being played. And everybody would gather out there that weren't able to go into the game. It was a great community event. You were able to watch those games, and just everybody was going crazy. It was so cool. And at that point, we didn't even have as much as we do currently downtown in OKC. So everybody would go down to Bricktown after, right? And that was kind of like the quote unquote district. And it's just kind of crazy in hindsight to think about how far the city has come, Nick. And like you said, all that's still to come for the city. One thing that I really loved, and this isn't going to be a direct quote because I can't remember it, but the owner and CEO, David Manica, mentioned a quote that stood out to him from Clay Bennett when they were originally discussing what they wanted this arena to be. And Clay had some incredible quote. It was like, we don't just want this to be the next arena of the next generation. We want it to be an arena for future generations to come, something along those lines. Yeah. And I think they did a really good job of that. This is something that will continue to help grow the community, like you mentioned. I mean, we have the Omni, right? We have Scissortail, like you mentioned. I think they'll probably upgrade the Botanical Garden across the street. But we talked about the new restaurant, if you want to call it a district or whatever, that'll be right across the street where Paycom currently is.
The uncontested district.
That's it, the uncontested district. Let's make it happen. But then you also have, look, there probably isn't going to be the tallest building in the entire United States being constructed in OKC, but they are going to build that hotel right there. Is
that not happening anymore?
Well, probably not. That was
not a skyscraper podcast, but just to
right. It was pitched as like phase 2 of what phase 1 is going to be, like that hotel with the restaurants and stuff attached to it. I can see that happening. I think the skyscraper is a little less likely. All of that being said, there's also the new soccer arena coming, the football arena coming in that Russell Westbrook's a part of. And they're really trying to make this like with the new O'Connor Resort further down the road. Like they're trying to make this all one big district. And I think that's going to be huge for the city. And it all really starts with this new arena. So we talked about that. You talked about the interior, which I think is really cool. One thing that I love, and again, Manica talked a lot about this, but just all about like, remember that slogan the Thunder had, all together, when the Thunder first started? He mentioned that a little bit and talked about how the entire arena on the inside is going to be open. So even when you're not like, pregame, you're not going to your seats, you're looking out on the discourse, right? You're able to see down low. Everything's connected 360. You're looking out through the windows on the Oklahoma sunset and the storms coming in when it's storm season. Yep. Like that was all very intentional, which I find really cool. But the other thing, and maybe the biggest thing, is you mentioned the design of the interior. And I think there's a quote here The preliminary seating design prioritizes basketball in an exceptional environment with optimized sightlines, creating an energetic, loud, and intimate experience. But the biggest thing there, Nick, is like you said, and I think Mayor Holt actually replied to somebody who mentioned this, but the steepness of that lower bowl, it's meant to feel like the crowd is literally on top of the court. That's going to be so loud.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
the section
really
you sit
cool.
in.
Yeah, that's right. When our good friend Carrie can come through, and if I get lucky with work tickets,
yeah,
that's where I'm at.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be really, really cool. Also, side note, I'm about to crack this thing, so I figured I'd say hello to
Prairie Bear.
With a little Rhinestone Rancher that we're opening up right now. It's gonna taste very good. It's like a
crisp
green apple Jolly Rancher kind of taste, if you will. So
you love a good sour beer. Big sour beer guy.
That's my thing. If I'm gonna get a craft and not drink like a 99% water kind of domestic beer, it's gonna be something that's a little sour.
Yeah, I like that, and that is what Prairie is known for. They have a lot of great options, and they continue to do their new beer Friday releases, which is really, really cool. So be sure to follow them on socials as well. Nick, we're getting a lot of questions before we move on from the new arena. There's been a lot of questions in here, but also a lot of discourse just about the quote unquote lower capacity, lower seating of the new arena. You touched on that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of curious your thoughts. I don't think this is like something crazy. I understand the concern, but I think a lot of Thunder fans are thinking more of like the NBA
What's the
Finals.
Concern?
Well, I think the concern is less seats, higher ticket prices. It's going to be harder to get in. You're paying more for quote unquote loud city tickets. But I think a lot of fans are getting a little too caught up in like what it was like these last couple rounds of the playoffs to get into the arena. It's going to be the same regardless. But shout out my good friend, Hank GPT. We were texting a little bit about this, and he gave some great comparisons here for us to look at. Obviously, OKC is a small market. That's no surprise. But here are the capacities of several newer NBA arenas, all in larger cities. The Intuit Dome. Capacity, 18,000. There's just like a little more than that currently at Paycom. Mm-hmm. Chase Center capacity, 18,064. Barclays Center in New York, 17,732. That's kind of the ballpark of what we're looking at with this new arena, although an official number hasn't been released. And then the Fiserv Forum capacity, 17,341. This is a trend. When you're designing arenas for basketball specifically, but also concerts as well in mind. But this is a basketball arena. The steepness that we talked about, the more limited capacity, that's what this is all about, giving fans more space and more room.
I think the vast majority of, like you just mentioned those numbers, but I think additional context, I think all of those, maybe like with the exception of one, downsized, just like the Thunder is doing. So like, yes, those are numbers that are close, but like the numbers those of the capacity of the arenas those teams were playing in before, I think was higher. I think the trend in general is not only like the 17,000, but also like downgrading. Yeah, you're getting slack for the way you said.
How do you say that?
I think it's Fiserv, like
Fiserv
or financial services. Basically, is like
okay.
It's a play on words. It's a company. I think the capacity is just fine for a lot of reasons. The NBA is different than college, of course, but like when you think of the most historic college arenas, which is kind of the feel that Oklahoma City goes for, you think of like Cameron Indoor Stadium is known for being like a hell of a place to play, or like you go to the Fog and you play the Kansas Jayhawks. It's like it's not like these are monstrosity arenas, but they're like places nobody wants to play because the fans are on top of you and it's loud as hell. I think it's fine, and we're talking about 1,000 seats, like maybe 1,000. When they say 17,000s, it could be 17,992, and we're talking like what 800 difference or something, or 300 difference. Like it's like no need to freak out. The amenities, if it's more expensive to get in, it's because of the amenities and the newness. It's not because of the
and the competitiveness of the team.
And it's not because of the lack of seats.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. Did we talk about Thunder Alley?
Yes, we did.
You mentioned Thunder Alley, but they're actually going to construct a Thunder Alley outside with a huge screen, it looks like, which is going to be really cool for fans to be able to gather. I'm curious how they're going to kind of like regulate that. Because I could see that getting very busy. But that's really cool for fans to be able to go out there, still feel like they're a part of the game without going inside. Like you said, just kind of making a community right around there in the heart of downtown. I think that's going to be really cool.
Yep. For serve.
Serve. I've never heard of that arena before. I don't know. Screen it off.
I'm freaking dying, man.
I'm always good for a mispronounced name.
Yeah. Do you know who plays there?
No idea.
What's your
I
favorite?
can guess.
What's your favorite team to say in a deep voice?
Oh, is that the new Milwaukee arena? Bucks.
There you go.
Okay, with the Deer District. So that's kind of what they're going for. I like it. See, it's a good comp.
Yeah.
Okay, well, interesting. Anything else on the arena, Nick? Anything we haven't covered?
No, that's plenty for now.
They're going to demolish. I think it was Smoot who asked like where this actually will be. Right across the street from Paycom, across from Reno Avenue, is currently where the convention center is. It's gone by many names before, but it's currently in the process of being demolished. And I think the goal is like I can't remember what it is, by the end of the year, I think, to have that completely demolished, and then construction begins like in the first quarter of 2026.
Let me try to share my screen for Smoot, because there maybe we have a lot of people that listen to this podcast that like never been to a game or it's brand new. So all right, here's Paycom Center, right? Here's where the NBA champions played last year. Catty Corner is this big scissor tail park that gets a lot of attention, and deservedly so. It's freaking amazing. Right across the street, Reno Ave, which is generally closed off for games. Like this is a place that fans can just like walk directly across, is this humongous like convention center. It's had many names. We can't
see your screen, so hold on. There we go.
You can't see my screen?
No, you didn't share.
It's been sharing for like...
Oh, it wasn't on my end, but we're good now.
Well, hopefully everybody can see now. I'll back up. I'll give you the quick version. Paycom, Scissortail, Reno Ave. Okay. This is a big convention center. The old name was like the Cox Center. Now it doesn't exist. Prairie Surf Studios is what it was. There's a lot of parking underneath here that people can park at for games. But basically it's literally right across the street. So the idea is they build the new arena here, and then Paycom gets demolished, and then it kind of brings together Scissortail, the botanical gardens I was talking about, and then this kind of district. There's a lot of parking here. I'm curious what they do with that. Like parking is valuable, but like you can make it so much sicker if this was all like cool gardeny type stuff. But literally for guys like Smoot, like you've walked past where the arena is going. It's right across the street.
Correct. Zoom out a little more, Nick, and so to the east currently of Paycom Center. You can zoom in a little more. That area right there, if you guys are watching live where Nick has his cursor, that's where this new development, like this new hotel development where the potential skyscraper could be. Yep. That's where they're talking about potentially placing that. And then to the west, or actually where the current convention center is, with these renderings that the Thunder and the city revealed yesterday or a couple days ago, like right to the east of the new arena, it looked like a bunch of new parking garages.
Yeah, I saw that.
And so they're talking a lot, like in frequently asked questions on the website. There's something about parking, and they said they're prioritizing parking for season ticket members and additional parking for fans. So, like you said, Nick, right there, like to the east of the new arena, but also like in that empty parking lot, I think would be a great place to put that.
And for those, can you see the skyscraper now?
Yep.
Okay, for those that have not seen this, it's freaking absurd. The theory is that they can build this new skyscraper that's going to be like the tallest in North America. And like right now, Devon Tower is the tallest by a lot. Like this is the current OKC landscape or close to current, where Devon is like the tallest by a lot. And like the other buildings are kind of mid-sized buildings.
And
old. The new skyscraper is going to make Devon look tiny.
That's where Nick's going to have his penthouse that he rents out for
I
whenever
think it
he's
would be
in
a
town.
good investment. To say you have property in the tallest building in North America would be cool. So
But
I don't
that
have
lower
the
part-
money for it, but I'd like to look at it.
Lies. Anyways, I think, like you said, Nick, it just the new arena being the centerpiece of all that's going to be really, really cool.
Yeah.
Donnie Hazelwood.
Let's talk hoops, huh?
Yeah, let's talk some actual basketball. Donnie says Taylor and Nick auditioning to be hired for the OKC Chamber of Commerce. Somebody else. Oh, Caleb E. So the Uncontested is my favorite city planning pod that occasionally talks Thunder basketball. Hey, we're putting our hats in the ring for the Uncontested district, the Uncontested arena.
I think it's called versatility in our industry, where we can pod about a lot of things. We
That's
don't just
right.
talk. We just don't talk
Welcome
about
to the off-season.
the orange ball. We got more knowledge than that.
There's only so much of that we can do in the offseason. And it's even with the Thunder going as far as they did, it's still a long offseason ahead.
Yep.
But speaking of that, Nick, we'll take a really quick break, and then we will discuss the round orange ball going into the red hoop. We'll be right back. Okay, so the Thunder have actually been playing some basketball recently. Nick, we've talked over the past week and a half or so on the podcast about Thunder Summer League. But like we said, it hasn't officially been announced because I believe there's one more game to be played before the seeding's official. But it looks like the Thunder are going to make the playoffs of
They're
Thunder
gonna make it.
Summer League.
Yeah.
So, Nick, do you want to give a quick breakdown for the listeners of what the playoffs look like for Thunder Summer League, and then we'll get into kind of what we can expect and some takeaways from the past two games since last time we podcasted?
Yes. So all 30 teams play in Vegas. The top 4, based on record, make the playoffs. It's just a standard single elimination 4-team tournament. Generally speaking, in most years, so you play 4 games to determine who makes the playoffs. Every team plays 5 games. You play 4 to determine who make the playoffs. The 26 that don't just play a random game and they're done. The 4 that are at the top, they play a semifinal game, and then the winners of that goes to the championship. So the 28 teams of the 30 play 5 games, and then 2 play a 6 for the championship. Generally speaking, there's 6 or 7 teams that go 4-0. So point differential is the tiebreaker. At the time of this podcast recording, Thunder's in first place. They could be jumped by the Raptors, who have a really high point differential, but they're 3-0 and they're playing right now at 10:58 p.m. They are up 3.
Yes,
so
up
their
3 against the Warriors.
Their point differential could fall. We'll see. They could lose and it wouldn't matter. Their point differential could fall. But for the sake of the pod, the Thunder is going to make the NBA Summer League playoffs. That said, I have no clue who the heck they're going to play. Like, don't expect Topić and AJ and these guys to come back and play because it's playoffs. But I do think there's some guys like Brandon Carlson's the most interesting, that missed the majority of the front half of the front season, or front 70% of the front the summer league with an injury, even in Salt Lake City. I think he'll probably play in the playoffs, and he is good, dude.
He's looked really good.
Like, it's summer league. We have more of a sample than that. He played Blue last year. He played Thunder last year. He's not the kind of guy that you can just like let heart walk in a couple of years and be like, oh, you got Brandon Carlson, you're good. But like, if Brandon Carlson's your third string center and is on your 15-man roster in a couple of years, I think that's fine. Like, if Jay Will needs a new contract, or Jay Will is part of a trade, I think Carlson can play third string center just fine in the NBA.
I think you're spot on. So 2 things there you mentioned. The Thunder had a back-to-back this week, Nick, in Vegas Summer League. Tuesday night, they played against
what do they call that?
Sega Baba. Shout out Silva. They played the Magic Tuesday night, and then last night, I'm trying to remember who they played. I don't know. They had a back-to-back. And Tuesday night, we did see Topić. We did see Ajay Mitchell. Wednesday night, we did not see either of those players. Nick, do you think we see them moving forward?
Nope. You'll see them in the preseason.
Agreed. And I think that is the correct call. Honestly, I'm a little surprised we saw them as much as we did, especially AJ.
Yeah.
I could have seen them shut AJ down and then just let Topić kind of run the show by himself, and then eventually shut him down kind of like around this point. But both of them played up until last night, Wednesday night, which I
Against the
kind of found
Pelicans, who employ one of your favorite collegiate players, Jeremiah Fears.
Oh, yeah, Jeremiah. Yeah, yes.
Yep.
And he played well.
Yeah.
But a couple different things. Obviously, Carlson, another player, Brooks Barnhizer. The reason I mentioned that is because with Jeremiah Fears on the floor, I don't think Derek Queen played last night, but with Fears on the floor, Barnhizer looked like one of the best, most NBA-ready prospects last night, Wednesday night against the Pelicans, which was impressive. So you talked a little bit about Carlson, Nick. I mean, he comes back, first of all, like with barely getting to play, has a really solid first half Tuesday night, and he's being interviewed by ESPN. He's like, honestly, I'm exhausted. I don't have my legs under me. And then he had like an incredible second half. I can't remember how much he scored in the third quarter. He ends the night Tuesday with 23 points, 7 rebounds, 4 of 6 from 3.
Yeah.
For a big man, 9 of 13 from the floor. He looked incredible. And then Barnhizer, like I mentioned, only had 8 points Tuesday night, 2 of 5 from the floor, but so disruptive defensively. And then last night against the Pelicans, he really shined. So not sure which of those players you want to dive more into, but those are the two that are really standing out to me so far.
Yeah. And those will probably be the guys that you're seeing a lot of in the playoffs, the G League or the Summer League playoffs. I think both of them should and probably will play at least the first game of the playoffs. And then if they go to the championship, I think they'll play again. Man, Barnhizer, it's so interesting with him. I thought he had NBA upside as a rotation player entering the NBA draft. Now I'm like, the pathway is so clear. Like, especially on a team like the Thunder, you mentioned 8 points on 2 of 5 shooting. If you're evaluating Brooks Barnhizer for this team, the points column should just be like scrapped. It doesn't matter. And he had a couple of great summer league games in the scoring department. It doesn't matter. Like, I really don't care.
Yeah, he had 19 last night, but that wasn't what popped.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's the rebounding, it's the defense, it's the disruptiveness, it's like the little things that help winning. And I think the Thunder, I'm not saying he's like the next Lou Dort that's going to be a start on the championship team. I don't think he can be Alex Caruso. That's an extremely high bar. But if you told me in 2027 he's like the 12th man on the Thunder, the 10th man on the Thunder, and he plays a lot of regular season minutes, I think I probably would not push back at all.
So last night he had 19 points on 8 of 12 from the floor, 9 rebounds, Nick. Another huge rebound performance, which is insane. He only had 1 steal, and I say only 1 steal because that's low.
It's averaging like 5.
Yeah. 2 blocks, 0 turnovers, and he has been distributing, which has been good to see. He has 15 steals in 4 of the biggest summer league games. That doesn't include, obviously, his performances in Salt Lake City. I mean, he's just so disruptive. Justin and I talked about this a couple nights ago, where we just mentioned, like you said, he doesn't have to be a Caruso. He doesn't have to be a Lou Dort replacement. He doesn't even have to be a Kenrich Williams. But as his team evolves, he's certainly a player you can see just fitting in with the way how disruptive he is, being able to jump into passing lanes. Nick, there was another possession last night, very similar to what we saw here about less than a week ago now. But he's defending down low, protecting the paint. A offensive player blows by his defender, and so Barnhizer's down low defending them, and he just strips the ball away in the paint, like before a player can go for a layup. I've seen 2 different plays like that from him so far in Summer League. It's and then obviously he's great in transition. It's not like it's funny watching his offensive game in comparison to the players we become accustomed to, like a J-Dub and Shea, who are so smooth. And obviously we aren't comparing them, but I just mean like the offensive style play of even Ajay Mitchell, right? Very smooth. And you see Barnhizer, it just feels like he's going like 110 miles per hour, 110% of the time. It doesn't always look the smoothest, but that's what makes him so great, right? And so good in transition, and his ability to be able to attack the rim and use his strength and physicality. There's a lot of things to be excited about, but like you said, it's going to take some time.
Yeah, I think that there's When you think about Topić, AJ, Brooks, Brandon, I think that's 4 guys that have a real shot to be on the Thunder's 15-man in the future. Maybe not this upcoming season because Carlson's not a two-way and all that kind of stuff. And Brooks is not a two-way, but those are guys that are 15-man rotation players on a championship team like Thunder. Like they're deep. And that was like going back to the app that we're using now to post stuff on socials. That was the topic of conversation last night that we posted. It's like we may be more interested in the blue this year than ever because the Thunder is so deep that there's like the summer league roster could be the blue. And there's like I said, 4 guys that are like top 15 level guys. Topić, like much higher. AJ, much higher. But like the blue will be very interesting. Not that AJ, I don't think will play much blue.
Agreed.
Topić made it to get reps, but like Chris Youngblood's a guy that if he ends up on the blue and doesn't get snagged by another team, love to watch him on the blue. He's good. Yeah. Like this is a really fun, good team. The blue is going to be in years past, the blue has been like, yeah, none of those guys are really gonna, and then like Oos will go down for a game and it's interesting to watch for one game. But like this might be a team to watch the entire season.
G League Finals MVP, Usman.
That is what he is. That's what he is.
We'll see how that all develops as well, which kind of leads me to a question that I received before we recorded, Nick, and kind of a good way to kind of end our discussion about the Thunder Summer League as we're looking ahead to the OKC Blue. Obviously, there's still one two-way spot for the Thunder to fill. Yep. Brooks Barnhizer and Brandon Carlson currently fill 2 of those two-way spots. Yep. Who would you predict currently, based on what you've seen in Summer League? Is there somebody who hasn't played even, like that center from Clemson, for example? Like, who would you predict gets that third two-way spot heading into the season?
Ooh, such a hard question. This is almost like in betting when you take the field, like it's just a safe bet. I would bet that they enter the season with an open two-way spot.
Ooh, I like that.
I love Youngblood. I think Victor Locken is great. We haven't seen him play at the NBA level because he's hurt. I think that Peyton Sanford's a good player who's also hurt, coming off of a dual shoulder issue, and he's a shooter, so it's a huge deal. I think it would not be surprising if the Thunder enter the season with an open two-way, let that collective group of guys rehab, get healthy, prove themselves, and one of those 3 earns it. I just don't. They could just reward it to one of those 3 before the season starts, but I wouldn't be shocked if they left it open. Or because you could snag guys from other rosters too. Like that's the thing with Summer League. Chris Youngblood's balling out, and we're all talking about like could he be the third two-way spot. A different team could also sign him to a two-way spot. Like that's what this is for.
Correct. And you make a great point. Like that's why I was a little surprised that Carlson didn't get picked up by another team.
Same, dude. Same.
Offered that qualifying offer. Like
there's a lot of rebuilding teams. He could be on a 15-man for sure.
Right. Absolutely. So a lot of fun stuff to look ahead, especially this next coming week with the Thunder and the Summer League playoffs, and obviously watching the OKC Blue, like you mentioned. Nick, let's go ahead and go through some listener questions in the chat. I'll check the Discord as well, see if there's any there, and then we'll get out of here for our off-season pod. Mark Heath asks, with the pinning cap squeeze over the next few years, I think he meant, do you think Presti flips the likes of iHeart and Dort for draft capital before their contracts end to acquire additional draft capital?
It's a really hard, it'd have to be really good draft capital. Basically,
and he followed up saying, sorry, just don't want to see Dort and iHeart go into free agency without getting anything in return.
Yeah, no, I see the like conflict there. I think the real question, unless you're getting something significant, let's say you're getting a young prospect that's cheap and a future first round pick. What the real conversation is if you're Sam Presti is, do I like this prospect and this pick that could be pick 26, or do I like one more bite at the apple winning a championship? When you're a perennial, it'd be different if the last year of those guys deals, someone was like Shea is hurt, or something's happened, like the team's not contending. But in like the final year of Ihart's deal, you could move him before the year starts. You could move him with the deadline. But like, what does that do to your title odds? And I think that if you're going for a title, it's not all about losing him for nothing. It's more about like, would you rather lose him for nothing but have him for your title run and maybe you want a chip? Or would you rather get a random 2028 first round pick that could turn into 2 seconds and some young guy that's never going to play just to get something in return? So I think the getting something in return question changes when you're a contender because you have the guy on your roster. That was very different than the paradigm 3 years ago when they weren't a contender, when you want to get something for everybody.
I think that's very fair. Next up, let's see, we have Thunder Cowboy. He must be a poke like you, Nick. Anyone remember how many players we can start with in training camp? I know it's 15 full plus 3 two-ways by the start of the season. I'm way more excited about who gets the last two-way spot as I should be, and we discussed that here a little bit ago.
21 players is how many you can carry in the training camp. There's a date closer to the season in which you must cut that 21 down to the 18 described below, but you have 21 guys you can carry.
Perfect. There we go. And they have until what date is it for them to be able to?
Off the top of my head, I don't know. I would guess
it's like a
October,
week or so before.
Early October sometime. Yeah.
Look who it is, Nick.
Dave.
Fan favorite, podcast favorite, Dave, with a super chat. Let's go Thunder, a dynasty arena for a franchise built a dynasty. A Westbrook and SGA statue will be the cherry on top. Dave, there's some great concourse outside, a lot of space for some statues to be built. So that'll be fun. Shout out Smoot, the Owasso boys, Ram Pride,
yes,
Nick
sir.
and I. Shout out Owasso. Thunder Chick has that quote for me from Clay that I mentioned and didn't have in front of me. He said, "We don't want the next great arena for this generation. We want the first great arena for the next generation." What a bar.
Amazing. It's amazing.
Great bar. Scrolling through, does Dave have a championship ring? He should. We sent him a championship shirt or a hoodie or something. I think that's all we have in the chat, Nick. Really quick. This is great podcasting. I'll pull up the Discord. Thunder Chick, if you haven't already, when will you fellas be revisiting the bets made at the beginning of the season?
That'll definitely be in the month of July or August. September kind of starts to trickle into the preseason and stuff and training camp and media day. And we got real stuff to talk about. The bets pod, I think we generally try to save for the dog days of summer and leave enough time before our bets for the upcoming season. Next 6 weeks, I'd say it's coming.
Yeah. And Justin brought up a good point in the Discord. He replied to our good friend Thunder Chick and said, "We revisited them on this episode right before the playoffs," which we did. We went through them. But like you said, Nick, we'll probably just a little before the preseason starts up, we'll revisit them and start to plan out our bets.
Yep.
And then we'll make new bets for the new season ahead,
Yes.
which I'm excited about. Nick still owes me a rap, by the way, over the instrumental.
We'll give you a snack
Our
wrap,
intro.
brother. Call it good.
You do love snack wraps.
I already
They're
got
back
some.
at McDonald's.
I already got them. They're good. They're
I
very
did
good.
too. I can't lie.
So
not a
good.
sponsor of the podcast, but
Did you
McDonald's.
DoorDash or did you drive up and get it?
Drove up and got it.
Same. Yeah.
Drove up and got it. I had to run home really quick for an errand during my lunch break and was in a rush. And I was like, you know what? Perfect time to stop by and
Spicy
try
or
new-
regular?
Oh, 2 spices.
I got one of each. I think spicy's better.
Agreed. This podcast is not sponsored by McDonald's, but hey, McDonald's, if you want to sponsor, be sure to reach out. Nick, thanks for joining me tonight. Wasn't quite the basketball podcast. We talked a lot about architecture and the future of the city, but so much excitement. I think when I talk to coworkers and friends, there's just so much kind of riding that high of the championship and now this new arena being unveiled. It's just the perfect timing and a very fun and exciting time to be a Thunder fan. So be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcast. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube. Join the Patreon because us here at the Uncontested will have you covered for all of it. I mean, I can't predict the future, Nick, but hopefully all the way through 2029, 2030, when the new arena is unveiled and J-Dub and Chet and Shay are here long-term, raising more banners for the OKC Thunder. So stay tuned. We'll have you all covered again Sunday night for for another group podcast. And until then, and until next time, Thunder up.